Good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard. For Spike, watching you freak out was the greatest moment of my day, Cohen. I am Matt Wright, and together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom. Hey, everybody. Oh, God, that was so much fun.
I couldn't even see him.
Oh, just listening to it, I was like, this is amazing. I hope I get to do this every week from now on. Woo! And for Joshy Bear Smith out of California, I am Matt Wright. He is also traversing the Muddied Waters of Freedom with us. First and foremost, let me thank Grassroots Kava House for the kava that I'm drinking on today's episode.
Oh, yes. That's a cue for me as well.
Yes.
My mic wasn't working, so now it is. Hey, everyone. Guess what? I'm drinking Kroger water. Kroger brand purified drinking water. You can't see that. Made in the beautiful springs of the reverse osmosis advanced filtrations.
Yep.
Bulavanaka.
Bulavanaka.
Josh is drinking the honey that he just got from... Oh, for God's sake. Anyway, everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Everything is fine.
This is a fine thing.
And also thank you to Jay Titus for allowing us to use her music at the beginning of this episode.
Yes, thank you, Jay Titus. Yes, thank you. Everything is fine.
Everything is fine.
Everything is fine.
Especially if you're listening. Like, if you're just listening, you're going to be real confused by a lot of this.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, you're going to have no idea why I'm at this high strung. Hey, Cheryl's here. Hi, Mama Bear.
Oh. Hey, Ma. How's it going?
Mama Bear in the house.
Oh, man. The funny story about that is actually, growing up, I played a lot of sports, and Mom was always the sports mom. And so she was like Mama Bear, running all these kids around all the time,
right?
Get pizza. So it's warranted.
So she's now the actual mother of a bear, though. So we've come full circle where she's...
I think we need to clarify that it may not be the kind of bear that some people are thinking I might be at this point.
Hey, this is California.
In time.
This is California. This could help you. Listen, we're not denigrating any bears here.
No,
so,
we are right.
Okay, right, exactly. Thank you. So, okay, so good. Well, so since you're here as a guest, Joshua, tell us about, we heard recently that you were running for the chair of the California Libertarian Party.
I am. I'm a 30-year resident of the state of California. I spent the last 6 years up in Pacific Northwest in Portland, kind of watching in horror as the state continues to go down a leftist, progressive path, up to and including being ravaged by deadly forest fire after deadly forest fire due to progressive deforestation policies, and I just had enough. And since I'm back, I was going to get involved, but I still have all these ideas and these things I learned from my national, when I was for national chair of the Libertarian Party. And I really decided I wanted to bring that intensity and that fire and those plans to the California Party. And I think we can make this the mitochondria of the Libertarian Party, as I like to say. So,
because now the Libertarian Party, correct me if I'm wrong, of California, that's the largest of the state parties, correct?
It is, yeah. Largest member base, highest elected official throughout party history, with Jeff Hewitt down in Southern California, Riverside County, Board of Supervisors. So he actually oversees a population of about 2.5 million people, and I believe it's like $5 billion budget. And so it'll be nice to show what libertarians can do as far as policy and how it can actually enrich lives. As the mayor of Calamasa County, before this, he was an elected mayor, libertarian. He was able to get rid of the CalPERS retirements and get all of the employees onto a 401k system and, free up the budget quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do on a bigger scale and really start showing that libertarians that are elected can make a difference. So
that's good stuff. So now correct me if I'm wrong. If you look on the California state flag, you'll notice a bear, correct?
It is a bear, correct.
So
grizzly bear.
So for anyone who thinks that we're doing this episode almost entirely just to give Joshua a hard time, no. This is strategic. This is a strategic. Mike's in the way. This is a strategic thing that was definitely Matt's idea.
Matt has been having so my mom she has no lack of embarrassing her son. This has been the way of my life for many, many years. And she likes to release old pictures of me. And Matt has just been loving it.
Oh, it's been great.
Yeah, Matt
she sent me one that I did not put it out because...
You're saving it for another episode?
I don't know. But, I'm certain you'll know which one it is. But it's you dressed up as a lion.
Oh, no. Oh, when I was a baby, when I was a little baby.
When you were little.
Yeah, that was one of my baby pictures. Mom liked to dress me up when I was a kid. There's some really good ones of me dressed up like a cowboy as well on rocking horses. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
We will.
She's got some real good ones. Real good ones. So
we have an entire series of Joshua embarrassing photo episodes planned, culminating in the soon-to-be infamous Josh Sudsy Boy in the sink Smith. I'm sure that there has to be.
Oh, I hope she doesn't have any of those pictures.
I kind of hope she does. I don't want to see it.
I don't think she does.
Okay, good. So that's good. So what would you say are the most... I want to give you a chance to talk about this, and then we'll get into the week's events. We can kind of parse through that. What would you say are the most pressing things that the Libertarian Party of California needs to do, and what is your kind of overarching goal for how to achieve those things?
So obviously candidates are very, very important to me. I am the candidate committee chair for the Libertarian Party Mises Caucus as well. And so recruiting, educating, and really, putting out candidates that are ready to take on the two old parties in the public. I think that's a really important thing, getting them ready to do things like, campaign, raise money, get volunteers, make a campaign plan. These are all things that you have to do when you campaign. And a lot of people want to campaign, they want to run for office, but they don't really know what they're doing.
Right.
And so that's a really important part to me, because as libertarians, we know our message is on point almost all the time. We know that we have a logical message. We know that we have a message that on certain issues resonate with a lot of people. But if you're always focused on the campaign aspect, you don't have time to focus on and crafting that message in a way that really relates to people. And so I think that giving people education as we recruit them and giving them the tools and the continuity of our past activists and how to get it done, I think that it's going to really make a big difference. And I want to run people all over the state. That's a really big thing for me. I want to run people at every level of office possible. And I really like there's a plan that they put together in Florida called Operation First Step in the last election cycle, where they ran candidates for all of the low-level positions they could find, basically water and soil boards. I mean, everything. And they got 40% of their elections won.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's huge. It's huge. And it's, a lot of the times we have these pretty good speaking people who are like, hey, I want to go run for U.S. Senate. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but we're probably not going to win U.S. Senate this year, And so
who's going to be the presidential nominee? I don't.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Don't know. It's a crapshoot right now. There's a lot of people that like Bill Weld. I have not been quiet about the fact that he is not my favorite pick. Then that's fine. I would like to see Patrick Byrne throw his name in there, and Larry Sharp be his vice president pick, and I think that would be a killer ticket for the Libertarian Party. I think we definitely get our 5% that way. we definitely get into debates, and Patrick brings Austrian economics to the national level, and that would be beautiful. So who knows? But yeah, that's a big thing for me as candidates. Also, donor amplification. I think we need to be raising money all over the place, and we haven't been historically very good as a party at raising money, and I think the California Party can raise a lot more money. I mean, we got Hollywood here, for crying out loud. You know, there's got to be some people in there that are tired of the government, right?
We have, I mean, just off the top of my head, you've got like Drew Carey, the guy from Escape New York, whatever his name is. I'm looking. I'm thinking in my mind's eye. Keith. His name's Keith.
We'll just call
his name is Keith.
No.
Nope.
No, that's not it. No, we'll just call him Snake Plisskens for the expedience of this episode.
Yeah, well, you can do that. I'm looking it up right now. Matt, you while I am this snake, I can't do two things at once.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you got like Vince Vaughn.
Kurt Russell. It's Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell.
Not Keith.
Not Keith. Definitely not Keith. His name's Kurt.
You've got Vince Vaughn. You've got Kurt Russell. You've got Clint Eastwood-ish.
Oh, yeah.
Drew Carey, many others that I'm certain haven't come out of that closet yet because it's Hollywood and they don't want to. Like,
we got Gary Oldman.
Do we have Gary Oldman?
We got Gary Oldman.
Libertarian.
Very libertarian.
Oh, wow, cool.
Absolutely.
Didn't know that. That's awesome to hear, though.
Woody Harrelson is an anarchist, he said. So there's
yeah.
Who
else just came out and said they feel like they're more of an anarchist?
Oh, Tim the Toolman Taylor. Why do I not?
That's Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. Yes, he said he's an anarchist.
We got to reach out to him. I got some addresses recently of some of the more famous libertarian leading people, so I'm going to be sending out some letters, personal handwritten letters to them shortly. So
nice.
Yeah, we got to start making a splash. You know, I don't think we're going to win the presidency in 2020, but we have the opportunity to make a large splash, and that's the important thing now. You know,
you don't think that the libertarians are winning the presidency in 2020, huh?
Only if they pass.
A boy can wish.
if they nominate someone electable like Bill Weld, then I mean, obviously they're going to win because he, you know. Definitely. I've met one person who is an unironic Bill Weld supporter, and he has a page dedicated to the support of Bill Weld, Sam Coppinger. With the exception of Sam, I don't think I actually know of someone.
I know quite a few.
Really?
I know quite a few, yeah.
Bill Weld.
Yeah.
First choice Bill Weld.
So here's the problem. With Gary Johnson came an influx of people from the leftish and some people from the Republican Party as well,
right.
That don't really know a large amount about the basis for libertarian philosophy. All they care about is electoral success, and they don't understand. I don't think that they really get the point that as libertarians, we're not trying to get people elected to gain power. We're getting people elected to relinquish power, and so we don't want someone who's trying to get in there to gain power, right. You know, and we don't want someone that's going to get up there and talk about how they're going to get up there to gain power.
Right.
We want people that are going to talk about libertarian ideals and turn more people into libertarians and spread our message. And people who win local elections can get in there and do things like get rid of the CalPERS retirement, you know, plans that are bankrupting a city, like Jeff Hewitt was able to do. You know, those are huge things,
right.
And that's another one of my platforms for California is I want to get the party to be more legislatively based, because we can make a big difference that way without ever winning an election. You know, we don't even have to win an election to make legislative changes. We just have to build coalitions with people who see eye to eye with us on one issue. And I can tell you that, especially in the state of California, there's millions of people here that see eye to eye with us on at least one issue that we can team up with and fight legislation and lobby at the state's capital, which is just 45 minutes away from me. So, you know, that's all really important stuff for the party. And I just don't think that those types of people understand what the party was meant to do.
Right.
And so they look to this electoral success as a success for the party, and it's not necessarily all that we're trying to accomplish.
Right. Understandable.
So I know that you do a lot of work with the Mises Caucus for the Libertarian Party, and Have they like endorsed anybody, like, or have they officially endorsed anybody, or is there anything along those lines that they've kind of been like, okay, we should definitely throw our support behind this candidate?
So there was definitely some endorsements in 2018. I was the first candidate they ever endorsed and it was for the intra-party race for my national chair race.
Right.
But I was kind of around bugging those guys since the ground level of the Mises Caucus, when there was just like 500 people in the group. I was in there like spamming the shit out of the group with my Joshua Smith for LNC chair page.
That. Yeah.
Yeah, just anywhere you went, you saw that. You know, you gotta say, look, I know how to get visibility, and that's it. That's important when you're running the campaign.
Yes.
So
everybody knew who you were.
Absolutely.
That you were doing something. They may not.
But they did some endorsements in 2018, but they didn't really have the infrastructure going into the 2018 elections to do a whole lot. But now the caucus is extremely organized. We've put together this candidate committee to kind of look for local candidates that we want to back in 2019, because there will be a lot of local elections in 2019. And so we're gonna look for people to back, and they are currently right now filing as PAC so that we can financially help candidates and also do in-kind donations. It's a hybrid PAC, so that, it's a super PAC and a normal PAC, which is kind of cool. It's a newish thing that you can do as per FEC guidelines. And so we have the opportunity to really start helping candidates and really be like a support system for the liberty movement as a caucus. And that was always the goal with the caucus. People are always talking about what our goals are, but they don't know. They're not in the caucus. They don't understand they've never been to one of our meetings. They don't know that we're very focused on helping candidates and building an infrastructure, and that we have, basically almost every state has a state affiliate, Mises Caucus now. We have the national is firing on all cylinders. We're putting out content, doing podcasts. I mean, it's becoming a well-oiled machine that's going to be more support for the liberty movement. So if anyone's got anything bad to say about it, they're hurting our own movement. So
yeah, I mean, I spent some time in the Mises Caucus Facebook group looking for crypto fascists to expose, and I've been in there for, I don't know, since it's existed, and I haven't found any crypto fascists yet, which I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little disappointed. But everyone's got to have a hobby. But
here's the thing. So we have a very strict Facebook mod team, and that is led by Jonathan Hudak. And if you know who Hudak is, he is the gentleman who started Fakeritarians.
Yeah.
And he does not let crypto fascists get by. And if they come into the caucus group, he will immediately message us, let us know what's going on, and kick them out.
I haven't seen any of it. People will tell me they're like, the Mises Caucus, they want closed borders, and they're basically Trump supporters. And I'm like, Mises Caucus are open borders, no welfare, like down the board. You don't even really
only want to financially help and endorse libertarian candidates. I mean, the whole thing is extremely libertarian, but the group itself is based around an Austrian economics point of view. And there's these same people that I was talking about, the influx we had with the Gary Johnson campaign.
Right.
These same people immediately hear the term Mises Institute, Mises anything, Austrian anything, and they start saying racist. Ron Paul newsletters, racist.
Here, Austria, you mean like Hitler? And meanwhile, they're wearing like Bush gear and Reagan gear, and they're like, yeah, it's a bunch of entryists. I'm like, you're wearing Republican clothing. And
looking at you, Coppinger. Looking at you.
Well, not just him, but yeah. I mean, he's one of many, but yes. And I like Sam, so I can't beat him up too much. But I'm like, is entryist like when you come from something else and try to bring it entirely into this new thing? Because that sounds kind of like what you're doing.
Yeah, it's really funny. And like my whole chair campaign, my national chair campaign, people kept saying, oh, as soon as he loses, he's going to go back to the Republican Party. I've been a registered libertarian voter since 2008. I don't know where these people think I'm going to go.
Well, you're still here. You're still here with us. And as part of your this very moment viral campaign for hashtag Bear for Chair, that you are, I love
oh my goodness,
these are all my idea, by the way. As part of that, we're gonna kind of go through. This is what we do on our episodes. We just kind of go through, parse through the week's news and you can give us your thoughts on it, and people will get a glimpse of what it will be like to have the steady hand of Joshua Smith as the chair of the Libertarian Party of California. You cool with that?
Yeah, sure. I went over the topics a little bit, so I don't know everything, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, if at any point you're quiet for like 1.3 seconds, I will just start rambling. As I do often anyway.
We're very aware.
That was for me anyway. Like anytime there's like any sort of pause, he just goes off on this wild rant, and I'm like, man, I was breathing. Okay.
Breathe fast.
I do the same thing.
Breathe fast.
I do the same thing
because I have so many comparisons of the state to rape that I want to make in an hour and a half period of time. That if there's any kind of pause, I'm like, it's like rape. But anyway, so we did that. So speaking of
rape,
is there something?
Oh my God!
Here? Is there something rapey here? Here, Matt, this is your show too. Tell us about the rape.
Wow.
Tell us about the rape.
Okay. So since I let in with rape, let's see how I can do this.
You let in with rape.
I did. Okay.
We can definitely talk about Bryan Singer, huh?
Oh man, that would have been better, but I already said Venezuela.
Oh.
Because I was going for the challenge. But Bryan Singer would have been so easy. But yeah, so in Venezuela, a lot of people are tired of Nicolas Maduro raping their paychecks and taking all of their money and making it so they have to eat dog. So they're having a bit of a coup, we can call it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a coup. And I don't know that it's a U.S. backed coup, but it is a U.S. backed coup. You know what I mean?
We're not saying it's a U.S. backed coup, but there's a coup, and the U.S.
is supporting it,
backing it.
Right.
It's a coup.
Yeah, the U.S. is definitely supporting the coup that may not be backed by the U.S.
But it is a coup.
May or may not.
It may or may not.
Right.
There's
may or may not.
There's some tweets from the commander of chief that tend to indicate that it is backed in that he says, I back this. But it is, and also it's a coup. So here's what I don't get. I'm doing it again. Okay, so here's what I don't get. So from what I've read, there's disagreement as to who is the actual rightful president. Like this Guaido guy, I guess Maduro was term limited, and so then the Venezuelan legislature elected him to be interim president, but then the Supreme Court said no, that's not kosher. Like, is there an actual, like, has someone said flat out this is the rightful president, or is there this much like disagreement?
Okay.
Yeah, President Trump said it.
Right. So last year, Nicolas Maduro was reelected resoundingly, like with, one of those percentages that you go, come on.
Yeah, right.
He was reelected for another 6-year term, resoundingly, and the Venezuela legislature elected Juan Guaido.
It's a hard one to say.
Yeah, Juan. They elected Juan to be the president of the legislature, and a lot of people started saying that they wanted him to be president. So he just said, I am the president now.
Look at me.
Look at me.
I am your president now.
I am the president now. And of course, Maduro did not like this.
Didn't he?
No, weird. He was not a fan of it. So he was like, no. And then Trump came out and he's like, we back. Why? Like, there's no way Trump could have said that.
It is impossible that he spelled or pronounced it correctly.
There's no way Trump said that correctly.
No way.
But
maybe he just called him Juan.
Yeah, he definitely called him Juan. Yeah, he definitely called him Juan.
We here in America are backing Juan as the president of Venezuela, and we think the rest of the world should too, which made China, Russia, and Turkey back Maduro.
God, we got great relations with people, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, we're doing good with the relations. But now the majority of countries in the area, their governments are backing Juan.
Yeah, and so are a large. So it's funny because BuzzFeed will tell you Maduro is a great president. He's doing good things. They like eating dog over there.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, it's keto.
It's great.
Delicious.
Never mind the hyperinflation. That's just the thing, you know. And meanwhile, I see tweets coming out of Venezuela. It's like we're dying, we're starving. Please shut up and let us have this new president that's going to stop running this dirty socialist game on us.
Right.
And people are like, no.
That's
just one person. That's just one person starving. It's fine.
Those
you
are
got to sacrifice for socialism, you know.
Those are Americans down there, and they're just faking it.
It's fake.
It just blows my mind. And I got a good friend named Zach Foster. If you guys aren't familiar with Zach Foster, please look up Zach Foster. He works with the Venezuela Libertarian movement from the United States, and also the Cuban Libertarian movement from the United States. This guy's a monster. He's awesome. He does great work. But that man will be able to tell you exactly what is going on right now in Venezuela. And I can tell you that the people in Venezuela do not want Nicolas Maduro anymore.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, part of the reason for the weight loss is that dogs are keto.
Yeah, well, that and dogs are even scarce at this point. Look, that when you
dogs are keto,
keto.
They're keto. Sure, absolutely.
Pure protein and fat.
You can't argue that.
But there's just running out of food. At one point, people were having to pull out like $20,000 to buy a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
The hyperinflation is just insane.
Yeah,
and Maduro's fat. You know. Maduro's and his buddies and the the elite, the governmental elite are eating it up, doing just fine. And this is the problem with socialism, is that at some point it becomes despotic, right? And so, and that's what we're seeing. And then I think the people in Venezuela are finally like, you know what? No more. We're not doing this anymore. We're tired of starving while this guy sits at his ivory castle and eats, you know? And so I support whatever the people want to do. As a libertarian, I think everyone should support what is best for the individual, and Nicolas Maduro does not treat anybody like individuals. So
when I think it was last year, it may have been the year before, but Maduro was doing a press conference, like he was addressing the nation about the food shortage, and he was sitting there, and I couldn't understand him because I don't really speak Spanish, but he was assumingly saying, we have to get through this together. And then he takes a break, he leans down, and he grabs an empanada, and he eats the empanada while addressing the food shortage going on with his people. And I was like, that's one way to do it.
That is definitely a ballsy move to do in front of starving people. Is like, I'm going to eat this beautiful meat pastry in front of you. See, that's
TV,
and that's why exactly, and that's why he's fat. Because if he were eating dog, he'd be in ketoacidosis and he'd be losing weight.
Yeah, the whole thing is just a mess, and I'm sure that the U.S. government's going to find a way to intervene into this, because that's what we do. Got to bring the empire to South America, and so that's the part that I'm worried about. But I think as far as it goes, socialism, especially despotic state, sponsored socialism like Nicolas Maduro and the president before him brought to the people of Venezuela, I have no problem with it being overthrown in any way, because it's force and coercion against people.
So recently, I think yesterday or the day before, Warhawk Bolton appeared at a news briefing with a notepad, and on it said 5,000 troops to Colombia. Do you think we're going to send our troops down there to help out?
Yeah, and I think so. I think that Russia and China are both looking for areas to set up down in South America as well. I don't know if it's going to be like Bay of Pigs bad, but I mean, yeah, I'm sure. Like I said, we look for ways as an empire to insert ourselves anywhere we possibly can all the time, and it's ridiculous.
I was taking a look at the map before today's show when I was doing the show notes, and the map for who supports Maduro in the map for who supports our buddy Juan. I don't even know what Juan stands for, but since I'm calling him by his first name, I feel like we have to be friends. So our buddy Juan, it almost looks like teams are like splitting off for World War III.
Sure.
I mean, you got Russia, you got Turkey, you got China, you got Mexico, and a couple other smaller nations down in South America that are very much on the side of Maduro. And then Juan's got us, Canada. He also has like the entire Middle East. So us, Canada, Japan, Iceland. The EU says they need to revote because that's the EU.
That's how they do it.
Right, but Spain, England, and a couple other countries over there have come out in favor of Juan. So I'm very interested. Like, I'm wondering if this is the Archduke Ferdinand.
Oh God,
I
hope not.
World War III. Yeah, I mean, I hope not. But like, I'm kind of curious if everybody's going to start sending their military down there. I can see it expanding.
I mean, here's the thing. Venezuela, I believe, has... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm not calling that to be what's going to happen,
right.
But I can see that.
Yeah, my concern is Venezuela has, I believe, the largest proven oil reserves, or one of the largest proven oil reserves, or the largest in the Western Hemisphere, or something like that. Like, I saw a graphic. I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, obviously they have a lot of oil. And so that
you don't say.
How interesting that everyone suddenly cares who is the president of Venezuela.
Shocked. I am just shocked. I tell you,
it's crazy. It's like oh man, I don't even remember what I was going to say, but it was hilarious. I mean, it's just crazy. Like man, I hope we don't end up in a world war over Juan, especially
and oil.
Yeah, and oil. Yeah, Juan and oil and Juan.
Juan.
And the thing is, so Juan is a member of Socialist International, so he's not like as authoritarian as, or we believe as authoritarian as Maduro and Chavez before him, but he's a socialist. This is not this is not a I mean, forget a libertarian. He's not even like a center-right moderate or something like that. Maybe by their standards he is, but the guy's like a socialist. I mean, he's a member of the International Socialist Movement. So this is only degrees of improvement. And I'm sure for the people down there, that would be a massive improvement. But I don't know. I know it isn't worth, the amount of blood, treasure, and goodwill lost to get into a hot war with world powers over a single country in South America, even if they have a lot of oil, because there's oil other places too.
Right.
So
yeah, I think the largest cache of oil in the Americas is actually in Alaska, isn't it?
Possibly. I'm actually looking it up.
I believe so.
I think it's Alaska, but second would probably be Venezuela. And look, we always know that our war follows the oil, man. It's just how it is. And it's one of the reasons why I'm a libertarian. I don't think we should be going to war with all these people all over the world and killing people we don't know. And
exactly.
I know a lot of libertarians are taking a look at what's going on there, and they're like, yes, this is the Pinochet moment, and we're gonna get that commie-hating leader down there who's gonna do what we've always joked about doing. And no, this is not that situation.
No, it's definitely not
what's going on there at all.
So as of 2017, the country with the largest proven oil reserves is Venezuela, with 300 and some odd billion barrels.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's now it hasn't. It
shocked.
Yeah, no, it really like. Oh, is that why John Bolton wants to invade them? How about that? Now, this is saying that it's not as recoverable as it is in places like Saudi Arabia, but it's there and they know about it. So it might be more expensive to get to, but that would make sense that who wants to control who's in charge there. So that sucks a lot, really bad.
Yeah.
So speaking of, man, I have no segues here. Yes.
Things that suck really bad.
Things that suck really bad and are oddly suspicious. Roger Stone, guys, was indicted for a thing, and he was for obstruction of proceedings, making false statements, and witness tampering. And witness tampering. And he was, for some reason, CNN got exclusive access to the FBI raid. We're not really sure why. Yeah,
shocked.
Roger Stone must have oil.
I love CNN's explanation on that, because people were like, "How were you there? Why were you at Roger Stone's house at 5 o'clock in the morning?" The morning, and CNN said, "Oh, we just do really good investigative journalism," and everybody laughed. It's like, come on now, no.
Tell more.
No, these two morons that put on this podcast on Facebook, they do better investigative journalism than CNN does.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. And you're way funnier and more charismatic. And yeah, the whole thing, like, first of all, why did they need like a FBI SWAT team raid on Mr. Geriatric? Like, come on.
It took more people to arrest Roger Stone than it did to kill bin Laden.
Yeah, could you imagine Roger Stone just hold up like Scarface in his house, just like, come on, bring it on. Like, no. Just walk up and knock on the door and be like, "Mr. Stone, we're gonna need you to put down your hot cereal and get the car."
Right, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Put down your Quaker Oats and your Geritol and come out with us, please. And that was what was so funny, was he just kind of answered the door like, "Yes," and they're like, "Roger Stone," and he's like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm Roger Stone. You're under arrest." Well, all right, well, I guess I'll come with you then, because I'm a 60-something-year-old man with no ability to defend myself. Like, I mean, it was just so absurd.
He's like, "Can I change out of my house slippers and into some shoes real quick?" Like, it just blew my mind. And then seeing in there is just, what? Come on. Yeah, right. We do really good investigative journalism. Sure you do. The rest of us have eyes, buddy.
None of us could have possibly.
At the hearing beforehand, we heard that, there was a lot of talk going on, and we figured that he was going to get indicted soon, so we figured we would just camp out in front of his house.
Indefinitely.
No, you didn't.
Yeah,
no, you did not.
It's like the Chris Farley, Adam Sandler thing and Billy Madison. Yeah, but you can imagine what it would have been like if we did.
Except it came true.
Yeah.
It's like, Roger Stone's going to be indicted. No, he's not. Yeah, but imagine if it did, and then it actually did.
No, I mean the whole camping outside of his house thing. We camped outside of his house.
Oh, yeah,
no, you didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Well, we had a friend that camped outside of his house. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Okay, but you could imagine what it would have been like if we had. That's. Come on, man. We know you got the call. Probably that call that came from a Clinton at some point. Like, "Hey, CNN, guess what?" And just it blows my mind, man. These people. It's such a dog and pony show. No one's going to prison.
It is 100% a dog and pony. Like, his entire thing is a dog and pony show. Like, every charge that he was charged with, if this investigation wasn't going on, and personally, I don't think there's anything to the Russia investigation. So all of the charges he's being charged with come from a bogus investigation. So, like, he would not have committed these crimes if this investigation was not going on.
Right. Yeah, because it was all related to, like, this investigation, like lying and witness tampering, things like that, with this investigation. So does that not mean that if it turns out there's nothing to the investigation, then these charges go away, or they still charge him?
No, they still charge him.
This whole thing, man, is just political theater. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a waste of taxpayer money in political theater.
And they're just gonna keep going after all of them until they're just gonna keep going after all of Trump's cohorts until the next election. Once the next election, you're not going to hear about any of this anymore.
Oh, whether he wins or not, yeah. Whether he wins or loses, this is all. I mean, this is all going to go away. So, go ahead.
I was agreeing with you.
Oh, good. So, guys, we have some bad news for you. for the last few weeks, we've all been able to enjoy watching the federal government slowly die, really slowly die, and increasing stories of government workers thinking of possibly getting real jobs. The FBI had to cancel snitching for a while. They couldn't pay their snitches. So snitching was over for a minute, and that was fun. We actually said, and this is not actual legal advice, but we said that if you had considered moving a brick, that would have been a good time to do it. Turns out, turns out if you had moved a brick, that would have been bad advice of ours to take, because the federal government. So definitely don't take advice from us in the future about moving bricks. And just don't move bricks, because that's against the law. But the federal government has reopened.
I love Josh's face while you're saying that.
Yeah, definitely don't move bricks. Yeah, wait, can we get the wah 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 sound after the federal government has reopened? There we go. Yeah, wow, man, what a huge letdown that was.
I was really starting to think that it was just going to go for a long time, and I was really looking forward to that. And then when people were like, well, Trump could fire these people now, and I'm like, if Trump fires these people, I might actually vote for him. God help all of us. I would at least strongly consider it and sit down with myself and read some stuff and just have a moment of some moment with me to really think about, like, am I ready to do this? Because if that had happened, but then no. So actually, instead what happened is my worst nightmare, which is usually what happens, is that he completely caved. I'm fine with the fact that he didn't get money for the wall. We aren't believers in the wall here on Muddied Waters of Freedom. But he didn't even get the State of the Union speech, although I guess they've just now, today or yesterday scheduled that, right, for the 5th, I think?
Yeah, it's next Tuesday.
Yes. So
next Tuesday, everybody's going to have a really important decision to make of watching us and not talk about the State of the Union or watching the State of the Union.
Or we can give a, you know what we can do? Because who the hell is going to watch Stacey Abrams? I'll say it. Where, like, what? I did. I mean, her own state didn't even want her. Whoa. So we're gonna give a response, or I will. I'll give a response. It's gonna be short. So again, look forward to that next week. But so that's happening. But he caved. His supporters are licking their wounds and explaining how this is actually. I want to do this number: 23,847,359,328 degree chess.
Intergalactic
chess.
Multi-dimensional, multi-reality chess. There's multiple planes of reality happening in this chess game that Donald Trump is playing in between.
I can tell you which reality his supporters are not living in.
Yeah. The one. It's just the one. The SNAP program. I mean, look, I don't want anyone to suffer much, but I definitely was like hearing about actual federal programs shuttering just brought a level of joy to this little Jewish body that I don't usually get watching C-SPAN. And so it's all over now, and the momentum is completely on the Democrat side in a way that I don't even think most Trump supporters are even willing to comprehend. It's crazy stuff. Josh, you were you're president right now. You're president of the United States for some reason, and you're in the middle of this shutdown. What are the tactics that you put in place to ensure that it never ends ever?
Oh man, if I was the president, I would have already sold off all the government assets. Everything would be gone. I don't know what you're talking about.
The golf cards and stuff.
I would have tried to take some kind of page out of Adam Kokesh's book and sign one executive order for the peaceful dissolution of the federal government. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want the wall. Like I'm not a big fan of taxpayer-funded public works, and a wall is just a giant waste of money to me. So I would have never been in a shutdown for that reason. But there would have been a shutdown had I been president. Let's be honest here, and it would not have been reopened. So
I was like, if probably any of us had been president, there'd be a shutdown immediately.
Day one.
As soon as they gave us the budget, it'd be like, no,
immediately, indefinitely.
Boop.
Done.
Yeah. President Cohen, why are you selling the toasters? You can't, those aren't your toasters. Like, well,
sure we can. And we're going to give this money back to people. We're selling it. We're giving the money back to the people.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to pay our national debt.
Yeah. Call the FBI. Oh, the FBI is not in? Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm selling the toaster. Because that's where the money is.
Sir, the FBI's phone number seems to be disconnected. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. They got a new toaster though. How about that?
You've got some heads of state coming in, and you don't have anybody to cook for them because the federal government shut down. It's fine. I can make some mean mac and cheese.
Yep.
I've been doing it most of my life. It's fine. I got this.
Yep, I got it. Ramen for everyone. That's what they like over there anyway. Is some good ramen.
Ramen.
What'd I say? Ramen?
That's okay.
Ramen?
That's all right.
I mean, everybody loves ramen, but ramen is the soup.
That's such a good joke, and man, I want.
Yeah, you really messed that one up.
No.
Where are you from? Huh? You from Canada or something?
No.
Ramen.
Ramen.
Who the hell says Raymond? God, you're from you live in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Down here,
that's
it's
right.
ramen.
You guys don't have any ramen there.
Down here, it's ramen. Down here,
you only have the ramen. You only have the ramen in the stores that you buy, like in the dry package. We have like ramen houses that you go and eat at on the West Coast, and that's probably why you've never actually gone and eaten real ramen.
We have the 15-cent packages.
Top ramen.
Top ramen.
Get that
ramen.
top
ramen.
Top ramen.
Top ramen. Oodles and noodles.
Who's the top ramen?
Apparently me. I'm the only Raymond, I guess. Apparently I didn't thought it was Raymond.
Never heard of Raymond.
Well, see, new things happen on every episode. So the shutdown is done. I was really upset about it. I mean, I guess we were all upset about it, but we were all very upset about it. And then to watch his support, I think the one consoling factor has been watching Trump supporters try to rationalize it, and they're like, in 3 weeks this is all starting again. I'm like, no, it's not. It isn't. He's gonna pretend that it's an emergency, and knowing that it's gonna be held up in court forever. Anyone who, like you mentioned, public works projects, the big dig, it took the federal government something like 30 years and $30 billion to dig a tunnel in Boston, which was like
it was 5 tunnels
in Boston.
I will give it that. It was
in Boston, the same place we threw tea overboard because we were done being taxed.
In Boston.
Just saying. What's going on, Boston? No, it's funny. Look, hey, this is my favorite part about anything that Trump does that is completely against conservative views or whatever that his people want. It's always the tears. I love the tears.
Oh,
and it's the same with the left too. I love the tears because,
oh my gosh. Oh, yes.
Like not that I want to claim some like superiority, but like I'm in the Libertarian Party, man, and yeah, we don't win elections, but we also don't have any expectations where I got to worry about one of our candidates going out there and telling me that he's going to end taxation and then not. So we're right. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We're right.
We don't win, but we're right.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
It's true. I know it's true. That's why it's so funny.
And at the end of the day, I go to sleep. My conscience is clear. I didn't put somebody in the White House that's going to lie to me on TV every day. So
yeah, I mean, our guy didn't even know where it was to bomb, which is I'm fine with that. People are like, he don't even know. Oh, he don't know where Aleppo is. I'm good. I don't want the president to know where anything is.
Yeah.
I don't want him to know where the bathroom is. I want him to stand somewhere and be like, where the hell am I? And there was a good chance. If there's anyone out there, Gary Johnson is
enough weed to be that guy. Yeah,
Gary Johnson is absolutely that guy to sit there and be like, whoa, man, where am I? And they'll be like, you're in the Oval Office. My hand is huge. And like, and that's great. Like literally nothing gets accomplished. That's my dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want all our candidates to get in there and just relinquish their power. I mean, that's what we're doing. That's what the Libertarian Party is for. And if these people who call themselves conservatives understood what conservative meant they wouldn't be voting GOP anymore. I can promise you that.
No.
You know, that's the big problem is I watch these people say, I'm a conservative. I have conservative values. What's that mean to you? Oh, gay people shouldn't be married. That's not a conservative value. Like the conservative value is like rolling back the size and scope of intrusive government and getting rid of governmental programs and lowering taxes, and that's what the conservatives are meant to be, you know. And it just blows my mind that they keep voting for GOP hacks who are no different than the Democrats. They just argue a different way, you know. I
want a small, limited government that checks your genitals before you go to the bathroom to make sure that you're got the right
exactly. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Certificate before you go into this bathroom, please.
It blows my mind. Like you're not allowed. Listen, anybody's watching this conservative, you're not allowed to call yourself conservative anymore if you're voting GOP, unless it's like Amash or Massey. That's it. That's all you get.
Well,
sorry,
RLC members.
Yeah, like you're not allowed to call yourself because you're not conservative. If you're voting GOP, you are voting for state-sponsored programs and taxes, and you're not conservative.
Of course.
Just admit it to yourself.
Yeah, no, definitely. And be sure to bring your genitals.
Yeah. Check your genitals at the door.
Genitals. If you're good, that's my. So I have two slogans. The Libertarian Party, we don't win, but we're right. And the GOP, bring your genitals.
We're going to need one for the Democrats, too, before the show's over. It's coming.
Yeah, it's probably also going to be genital-based, but I'll work on that.
It probably can be.
It's
hilarious to me. Like, okay, we got to pay people. We got to buy a wall. We got to pay for more wars. We got to pay to have someone at the bathroom door checking your genitals. I mean, you're not a conservative. Stop saying you're a conservative because you're not.
Absolutely not. Like 100%. Like I talked about this on my show that's coming out Thursday because I pre-recorded that one, the one with Andrew Heaton. Like I 100% believe the only reason that we are reopening the government is one for the SNAP program, which we didn't talk about, but the Super Bowl. I 100% believe that is the reason that we are reopening the government right now. I think he would have let it drag on a little bit longer, but because of the Super Bowl, because on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday.
It is Sunday, yeah.
Well, this past Sunday, 2 days ago, that was the day that the teams were flying in. They wanted to make sure that Atlanta Airport was as safe as possible. So he was like, okay, now's the time that I have to reopen this stupid government.
Because the TSA has got so many terrorists.
Right. Yeah. So safe. Another bring your genitals moment is when you when you go to the TSA. The TSA also is really big about your genitals.
They do want to touch your genitals. I've had the TSA get down on a knee to the point where they could probably smell my genitals. They're the worst. They're the worst. God, handsy.
They
assholes.
are. I used to call them the TSA the thousands standing around, but the thing is they alternate between standing around and cupping your
genitals.
Scrotum. Yeah, they really are big. They like to cradle a lot.
They like to really slide up like the side of my sack, like all the way up the side.
Yeah, the
like
side.
Till they're touching like my pelvis bone. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
they're terrible. You're terrible people. You should have quit your job while the government was closed.
The TSA, the taint searching agents.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. They're the worst. They literally have stopped no terrorist acts whatsoever. Not one. In fact, a lady got through with a shoe bomb. That's the one big terrorist act that they've been able to say they could have done something about, and the lady got on the plane.
Right.
So I don't know. I know people who have gotten on planes with tasers. I know it's just like, what? You guys are no good. It's just giving college students jobs. That's what they're doing.
Yep. Matt, I think
making my travel plans harder.
I was gonna say they're giving high school dropouts jobs is what they're doing.
Generals.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, the Catholic Church didn't take them, so they may as well TSA. Sorry, Josh.
Bear for chair.
Yeah, bear for chair.
Bear for chair.
Bear for chair, California.
2019.
Hashtag.
Hashtag Bear for Chair.
Hashtag Bear for Chair.
Bear for Chair.
Hashtag. Oh my God.
So speaking of the Catholic, oh no, I'm sorry, you were going to expound upon the Catholic Church, Matt. Go ahead.
No,
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good on the Catholic Church. That literally just came out of nowhere.
As have many things that have been said in this episode. Speaking of which, many things coming out of nowhere. Several hundred people so far have announced their candidacy for the Democratic presidential nomination. And counting, I think it's up to 2,314 that have announced. Among them, Tulsi Gabbard, Kristen Gillibrand, Kamala Top Cop Harris, Liz. Oh, there's even more. Pete Buttigieg, Julian Castro, John Delaney, and Liz Warren. Thank you for being here, my own husband in our kitchen, Liz Warren.
Do you guys like beer? Do the humans like beer, honey? Do you like beer, honey? I like beer.
And I like that the husband was like, "No, I don't want one." Like that made it so much better.
We don't drink beer.
It's like, no, I'm good. I don't need a beer.
When do we know? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you.
You one of the ones rallying against Kavanaugh, like.
Oh yeah, big time.
He was a drinker.
Big time.
I like beer. I liked beer a lot when I was young.
I enjoy beer. She is the most okay. So, and we've talked about this before on the show. If you are an old, stuffy Ivy League type, just embrace that, because if anyone's gonna vote for you, that's what they're looking for. Is this older, waspy? You're going to lose, but you're going to lose anyway. At least lose with some damn dignity and a glass of wine that you would be, white wine spritzer that you would normally be drinking. Enjoy your life, Liz. And don't come out with, you want to prove that you're a native so bad that you're day drinking on live stream. This is...
Take a page out of the Libertarian book.
Yeah,
you're gonna lose, she was at least be right.
Exactly. At least do it right. Smoke a joint. If you're gonna go full blast, do a John McAfee and start.
Yeah, if you're gonna go full Steve Buscemi, like, hello, fellow pot smokers, how do you do?
Hello,
do it.
Substance abusers,
fellow young people.
Oh,
she's no McAfee. McAfee's in the middle of the ocean right now, running from the CIA or something. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on with this guy right now.
He's at the whale banging competition, right?
Yeah,
it's perfectly normal, by the way.
Indictment. He's running away from an indictment, so he left to go to international waters, and he's like, "This is where I'm going to run for president."
From international waters, yeah.
International waters.
It's original.
Oh, John.
And you were entertaining, and I enjoyed hanging out with you.
I think Donald Trump's entertaining. We could have had John McAfee. The government would definitely be shut down.
Oh yeah, no, the government would be. The government would actually be indicted by the government for some whale banging. He's got
an indictment for some kind of crypto stuff, some in the crypto market. So probably not paying millions of dollars in taxes, I'm sure.
That's what it was. That was
because Coinbase will remind you to pay your taxes now. That's why I don't use Coinbase anymore.
Right. I'm just picturing President McAfee asking, or McAfee, Raymond, and asking
Raymond McAfee.
Oh, Raymond
McAfee. Raymond McAfee asking the National Oceanic Administration, you see any whales out there?
That's the name of the genital checker, Raymond McAfee.
I'm Agent McAfee.
Yeah, we're going to use him to check genitals at the door because we're true conservatives.
So, speaking of conservatives, we've got a comment here from Isabel Janice. Well, we won't use the full name. From Isabel, that says conservative means being loyal. Conservative means being loyal to state and religion. F that S.
Fair enough.
She actually spelled that out, though.
Well, that's helpful of her.
No, conservative doesn't mean that.
No, that's what the caricature of that has come to mean, right. Is that, that it's like we need every bit the same size of government that the Democrats want, but we wanted enforcing our ostensibly also caricature faith-based views of how society should be run. Also,
so there's two different parts of conservative, right? So there's like the conservative like values, like these traditional values, like right, in your own personal life,
right?
And then there's like this where you don't want things to grow or change, right? As far as governmental programs go, that's in politics. That's what conservative is supposed to be. It's supposed to limit government from right. doing more stuff,
right?
And so that's why when people are calling, the conservative is a term that's dead to me now because people have just ruined it, destroyed it, but that's what it was supposed to mean in politics. Conservative was supposed to be limiting the government, keeping a small, smart state that doesn't intrude on everyone's life. And you're just not conservative anymore. I mean, you're just not. And so you've ruined that word, and real conservatives who really want to make the government smaller don't use it anymore because we're all libertarians.
Yeah, I mean, conservatives are effectively minarchists to something. Like an actual ideological conservative, paleo is essentially a minarchist. I mean, maybe there's going to be some disagreements on things like border security or whatever, but I mean, for the most part, they're going to be far closer to a minarchist than a populist Trump supporter.
Correct. And that's why whenever I see someone using the word conservative talking about a wall or bigger government programs or enforcing their religion on other people, I'm just like, you guys really don't know the roots of conservatism whatsoever. And that's fine. I don't use the word conservative to moniker myself, and I never will. But you guys should really just stop calling yourself conservative. You basically did to real conservatives what liberals did to real liberals.
Yeah.
So.
Goose and gander. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Exactly.
Just like old Raymond McAfee. I'm
the genital checker.
Old genital checking Raymond McAfee.
Old Raymond McAfee.
So okay. So speaking of my continued poor pronunciation of words, Howard Schultz.
Yep.
I'd get the Jew name right, of course.
Howard, it's an easy one.
Howard the Jew. Howard Schultz. Is possibly running as an independent / spoiler. He has been on the news. Trump actually took the. I think Trump wants him to run because he double dog dared him to run on Twitter. He didn't use the term double dog dare, but he basically said, "I don't think he has the guts for it." And I'm like, "You want him to run so bad?"
Yeah, he does. He's going to split the Democrat vote. Well, the funny thing about that is like he said he was going to run as an independent, and the Democrats do what they always do. They attacked him.
They attacked him hard.
They attacked him. Oh, you don't want to run as a Democrat? This is why no one likes you. Right. This is why no one likes you.
Run as a Democrat. Why? So they can call him an effing white cis het male jerk, privileged jerk, and they'll do the same thing they did to Bernie. Exactly. He'll build a giant following. He'll raise all this money. He'll have a ton of backing. And at the last moment, they will figure out a way to insert their chosen candidate into the nomination. And they will lose. That's what's going to happen. I think they will lose. I'm increasingly
convinced. It's going to be Hillary Clinton all over again. And
it might actually be Hillary Clinton because they're now floating that.
Saying that she might run, yeah.
Talk
about What's the definition of insanity again?
Trying the same thing over and over and different results.
Being Hillary Clinton and continuing to run for president. That's a good maybe a secondary definition. I've already said, and I've been clear and unequivocal about this on every show and in any person's ear who doesn't walk away from me when I start saying it. If Hillary Clinton runs for the Democratic nomination, I will vote for her in the primary. Straight up. Zero hesitation. I don't care who's running for I don't give a damn.
Just for the troll, huh? Just for the troll.
LOL of it. Because I mean, let's be on it. Let's like real. It's just Thank you. I love you too. I love you too, Joe.
You're the best.
Thank you. You're my bear. You're my bear. We're going. Let's Hillary. I want to be president. I'm voting for you in the primary. Then that's what I'm going to do. Not in general.
Well, the cool thing about us libertarians, like our primary is at the national convention, right? Like our delegates pick our nominee. So it's like, I would almost like to see that happen just because it would be hilarious. We get a whole other 2 years of memes. There's
I'll knock on doors for it too. I'll be unironically like really hardcore about it and go to my Kamala supporting friends and be like, "Oh, she's 5-0. You don't want her. You want Hillary Clinton." Hillary Clinton is down with the blacks. I saw her. She's got some hot sauce. Yeah, right. Some hot sauce. She's got hot sauce for her ramen. So I don't really have anything else to say about that. Hillary 2020. If she at least for the primary, Hillary 2020 all the way. Thank Hillary you. 2020. Bring your genitals. I
guess that really does go for either side, huh?
It really does. Bring your genitals is an all-encompassing political catch-all for both politicians and their policies, because it's TSA. That's a good one for TSA. The bathroom stuff. Bring your jennies for that. It's good. It's good. I'm gonna keep saying it because it's in no way is it alienating to anyone.
Technically, no matter what, when you go to the bathroom, you have to bring your genitals. Like,
yeah, it's hard to go to the bathroom without your genitals.
Right. I mean, it's very important. So you kind of need like proof of your genitals to go to the bathroom.
About genitals for so long on this episode.
This is a genital-heavy program.
This is
heavy genitals for sure.
This is about heavy genitals. The thing is, I don't really go often anywhere without my genitals, and just as a general genital policy, I feel like now we've talked about it too much. So speaking,
you're really beating a dead genital right now.
Speaking of bringing your genitals in places where maybe you shouldn't have, Bryan Singer. Tell us about it, Matt.
So Bryan Singer, who directed great films such as The Usual Suspects, X-Men, X-Men 2, X2, X4, X5, and the most recent Queen biopic. He's now been accused of 5 separate sexual assault claims from men both of age and below age, of which one was 13 at the time of the incident while he was filming the movie Apt Pupil. Now, my question is, well, not only why hasn't he been shot, but also, why is this not getting the same sort of media attention that the Kevin Spacey got?
Well, especially because I did a lot of reading on this issue, and it sounds like a lot of these cases have already gone to court several years over. And then the first 3 cases, the client themselves actually backed out of the court case for some unknown reason. Probably a settlement, I'd imagine.
Some backroom settlement.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But like the newest one in 2019, I don't think that one's going to go away, especially in the wake of the Me Too movement. There's just no way.
It's completely different now. I mean, if you think of what Michael Jackson went through in the late 90s and early 2000s, if he were still alive today, he would be completely derailed because Me Too is I mean, if you have anything resembling a credible accusation against you, everyone just errs on the side of boycotting you. And MJ gets away with it because he's dead, and which is a great way to get away with things, to die.
It works. It's very useful.
Exceptionally.
That is a resourceful guy, let me tell you.
He was a cagey guy. Huh? You want to get? I'm gonna die. How about that? So he's dead. And so I know nothing about this Bryan Singer thing except for what I've read in this and just a brief thing that I guess. So some guy named Avi Lerner is trying to grab him for pennies on the dollar because he's obviously a lot cheaper now to get to do a movie, the Red Sonja movie. It's a Conan the Barbarian spinoff, and he's good luck getting people to star in that particular film. But that'll
especially anybody under the age of 18.
Yeah, directed by Bryan Singer and starring Lindsay Lohan.
Ooh, is it really?
I bet it will. Because who else? I mean, really? Like, who else?
She needs the work.
She needs the work. And this is going to be a film of people who need the work. And in the same vein that I will vote for Hillary Clinton in the primaries, I will absolutely watch this movie in theaters, just to see the train wreck.
For the lulls.
Yeah,
absolutely.
IMAX, like full on IMAX, the matinee experience where they bring out the steak. I will pay the full ticket price for that one.
Yeah, I've been I'm one of those people that I really like to hear all the facts and see the testimony, and I don't like to make comments on that kind of stuff because I've been at the heart of some pretty vicious, lying, slanderous attacks myself. You know what I mean? And so it's like one of those things where once you've lived through it. I mean, never any sexual assault cases or anything.
Right, but
like
you know what it's like to be like actively publicly accused of something you didn't do. Right.
Nationally too. Like it was, and even though the Libertarian Party's small, it was vicious. It was gnarly for me. You know, I went from like no one knew who I was to like wondering who I was going to be every morning when I woke up. And it was pretty rough.
Intense for a campaign for the chair of the Libertarian Party. I'm like, this is really hot. There's a lot of energy here that I don't get. And I think a lot of it was just personal against you. For political reasons, and it just kind of blew up into something really disgusting. But I mean, hey, I get accused of killing Jesus, so I mean, you know, I mean,
I know all about it.
A lot. And,
are you telling me you didn't kill Jesus?
Personally, no.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. Not personally, no. But yeah, so I'm with you. Like whenever these things come out, I'm like, I want to hear a little bit more, like with Kevin Spacey. I don't know. I would definitely want to hear more before I can say, yeah, I think I don't need, the same amount to convict someone in court necessarily to have an opinion, but I don't have an opinion on this. And then, so this is another one kind of on the other side where I am still waiting to, Empire, one of the stars of the show Empire, Jussie Smollett, he plays a gay character on the show. I don't know if he actually is gay or not. He is actually gay. Okay, he's an actual confirmed homosexual. He was in Chicago. Yeah. He was in Chicago, and he was allegedly assaulted by masked white Trump supporters in what I think sounds kind of hoaxy. Matt probably disagrees because he's a really good guy. But he had bleach thrown in his face, and then
cut out. You cut out. What'd you say? He had what? Yeah.
Oh, he had bleach thrown in his face. Is that correct?
So he was attacked. He was attacked leaving a subway at 2 a.m., 2:30, something like that, and he was beaten by two alleged Trump supporters. While he was leaving this subway, and they were beating him, and then they poured bleach on him, and one of them said, God, how do I edit this? He said, you're that...
The F word.
F word, yeah. F word, N word.
Yeah, you're the F word, Empire, N word.
Oof. Yeah,
so F word not being, the one that we all use probably daily, but the slur for gay people.
Yeah, the slur for gay people. Yeah,
the slur for gay people. He was like, "Yeah, you're that F word, Empire, N word," and then they beat him, and then they poured bleach on him, and allegedly when they were leaving, one of them yelled, "This is MAGA country" in Chicago.
In Chicago, so
in Chicago,
entirely plausible. 2 seconds. Okay, so I will say that this is possible that this happened, but man, this is MAGA country?
You're going too far. You're going too far with the story.
This is MAGA country. We're in Chicago, so I'm going to call it MAGA. If you had to ask me to bet on whether this is a hoax or whether it's real, I would bet hoax. But I could also see it being real. But man.
Yeah, that's weird in Chicago. Chicago's definitely not MAGA country. If nothing else, Chicago is definitely not MAGA country.
If nothing else, they lied because they're guilty of lying because it isn't MAGA.
But I mean, that's brutal. I feel bad for Jussie Smollett. If I did just look at the pictures. He did obviously get beat up.
Yeah. No, he got hurt bad. Yeah. So I mean, who knows? We also just got told by the national media that a kid smirking at a Native American man was, a hate crime,
an aggressive attack on a hate crime. And so who knows? You never know, man. The media, I don't believe the media ever about anything anymore. So,
and that's what I was going to say is this is a lot like that. And what you and I talked about on my show last week, where all of this just kind of started coming out today. I think, this morning? Sure. All of this started just coming out this morning, and it's like, give this a couple of days before actually making any sort of opinion, because there's no way to know. Right now, all of the reports are coming from TMZ, and all of the reports are coming from Jussie Smollett's own account. Thank you. Account. Sure. They're all coming from Jussie Smollett's own account of the incident. So,
it's a bad thing. If that happened, it's a bad thing.
Right.
That we could say that if that happened, that's a bad thing.
Oh, if it happened, it's horrible. It's an absolutely horrible thing.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible. That shouldn't happen to anybody. People shouldn't have to be afraid for being a certain color or a certain sexual preference.
Absolutely.
That's not a good thing in this country. It does. I mean, Chicago, MAGA country doesn't really register to me. But you never know, man. It could have been some kids from the Illinois suburbs. You know what I mean? So
hanging out in the downtown Chicago and beating up black guys and calling them the N-word with a mask on and yelling MAGA country. It absolutely is.
At 2:30 in the morning.
At 2:30 in the morning. Definitely a safe place for masked white people that scream the N-word and beat up black guys. So it is absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible.
It's possible. Yes. None of us want to call this a hoax, really. But it sounds rough. It sounds rough.
Sounds pretty rough.
Sympathies to Mr. Smollett, and hopefully he recovers healthily and is okay.
Oh, absolutely. Someone beat the crap out of him. So I mean, he definitely was assaulted by someone. So I mean, definitely prayers for speedy recovery.
I stopped believing the media completely in 2012 when media blacked out Ron Paul. So I don't believe in a word they say until I've researched it myself, and that's just where I'm at. So and TMZ especially is up there with BuzzFeed and Huffington Post for me. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we've discussed everything.
Okay, so minus there was something there. I almost called you by the wrong name, Josh. There was something that Josh wanted to bring up. Man, I probably should have introduced it that way. But
no, it was. Wait a minute. We were going to talk about. No, we didn't talk about the MAGA hat kids getting a lawyer. That's what it was.
We did not talk about the MAGA hat kids getting a lawyer. So the MAGA hat kids got a renowned lawyer who helps in these sorts of cases.
I hope he destroys the media. Honestly.
Oh my God.
I hope he just destroys CNN and just kills everything. Just decimate the media. It's time for new journalism.
I hope, the lawyer. I don't have like the full notes on the lawyer, but I don't have.
Isn't it Ellen? Isn't that who it is?
It's Ellen something.
Oh yeah, he's going big time. Ellen Wood, right?
Ellen Wood, yeah.
Ellen Wood,
It's a female, I believe. But yeah, she has.
No, No, it's a guy. L. Lynn Wood is a gentleman who actually is like the #1 libel and slander attorney of all time, and so yeah, it'll be interesting. I think he is justified to go after CNN and any media outlet that he wants to go after. He needs to go tear him down.
Yeah. I think there's a chance that, I mean, personally, I would go after leaders of political parties. But
hey, yes, I agree. I would too, especially if that leader of that political party compared me to Jim Crow era racism.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. What? Yeah, I would for sure, no doubt.
I would.
Yeah, that's exactly the face I made actually after I watched the entire 2-hour video and went, okay, I'm going to go back to this political party leader's page and see his retraction. And here it is over a week later and it still hasn't been issued. So
he is standing strong.
Yeah, you can call it that.
Strong in his denial.
Ignorance and denial, absolutely.
CNN
and that's what it
has retracted. Like all of the major media outlets, at the very least, have kind of walked it back or presented stuff saying, well, there may be different sides of the story. I mean, you've had like prominent progressive pundits and journalists who have been like, we were wrong. Like we were straight up wrong. Atlantic published a piece where they said that it was the MAGA hat kids that were subjected to racial slurs and abuse by adults and that they were the ones acting the best. And then Salon, I think, Salon. So, first of all,
but red hats, bro. Red hats, bro.
Red hat bad.
Red hat bad, dude.
That's bad. But
smirk man bad.
But Nick Schmarmy Schmirk Sarwark, he won't back off. He won't back off saying that the kid was in the wrong because of an 8-second clip. He refuses to admit it, and.
No, he took the same path. So here's the thing, and this is what pisses me off about this whole event and why I've spoken about it so much and why I got upset with Nick Sarwark and why I pissed off a whole bunch of people by putting out a meme about Nick Sarwark not admitting he was wrong.
Which I love.
And this is why, because he is representing an entire political party in this country.
Right.
And he is doing exactly the same thing that the media does. And when he found out he was wrong, he decided to start digging and looking for other reasons to vilify this child, including a blackout sporting event that is super common in sporting events that was from 7 years ago when none of these kids were even at that school. And, and it's like people don't like to be wrong. I get it. I'm wrong all the time. I hate it. I wish I was never wrong. But at some point you have to say, you know what? I was wrong. This was stupid. And you have to show some humility. And that goes for, the janitor at the hospital all the way up to the leader of political parties. They need to be able to admit they're wrong. And it pisses me off because we're pushing people away from our cause by being no better than the two old parties and the media.
He's the head of the third largest political party. Now, obviously, it's considerably smaller than the other two, but it's the third like if someone thinks third party, most of the time they're going to think libertarian, and then sometimes they think green. But I mean, he's the head of the main viable alternative to the Republicans and Democrats, and he is pushing. He is the. What? Why am I hearing me?
I don't hear you.
I don't hear me anymore. Yeah, he's pushing something absolutely ridiculous that even I don't see the head of the Democrats doing this. Like I don't see really any head of any political party putting this much energy into a now completely dead story about a kid with a hat. And I don't get, and we don't support Make America Great Again, or when I see people wearing the hats, I tend to kind of like chuckle to myself and roll my eyes or whatever. But like, it's all because it was a white kid wearing a hat that everyone just assumed that the child was the one in the wrong, not.
Oh, and it gets even worse. He's a white Catholic private school kid with a red hat
who's smoking
at a event about not about
pro-life.
The pro-life event.
Oh yeah, the pro-life event. Yeah.
Right.
So we have to be able to find ways to vilify this person because we were wrong, and I just can't. I can't be an accessory to that. And watching someone who I work with do that is gut wrenching, to say the least.
Because it's not just about this. Like, it's not, about a difference of opinion with this stupid thing with a kid. It's about vilifying someone based on a really weird assumption. And then, more importantly, when more facts come out that are like, no, that's not even close to what really happened, just completely doubling down and being like, yes, this kid was exactly like, I mean, the meme where it's like comparing him smirking to a bunch of people standing over at
the counter.
Yeah.
At the center. That's that meme that Nicholas Sarwark shared, actually.
Yeah, where they're doing a sit. He's comparing them to people intimidating and threatening with violence people that are doing a sit-in because the kid's smirking. That's exactly the same. White smirker bad.
Yep. Yeah, it's a crazy time to live in, man. And I don't, I'm one of those people who is super against these race realist assholes. I'm super. Oh, yeah. I think that white genocide is a giant myth, and I'm tired of hearing people talk about it. It makes me laugh at this point when someone's like, "White genocide." I'm like, "Shut up, Augustus Invictus." But so it's just like it's just one of those things where it's like in this case, you're wrong about this white kid and you're being an idiot. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it is what it is, man. I don't even know how to deal with it anymore. I put out my pieces. I let people know how I felt. I waited 3 days after the event to actually watch all of the footage. And then I made a educated statement on it. And if other people don't want to do that, that's their bad. They can be as ignorant as they willfully want to be.
Now, I know that we discussed this after my show on Thursday, but we said not to call him by that name. But
oh, right. Sorry, I totally forgot.
No, we call him white genocide. No,
it's Austin Gillespie.
Who guy who is against white genocide, who has children by I believe, Mexican woman.
No, it's we used to call him the what was it, the Southern Justice Warrior. That's what we used to like to call him, Southern Justice Warrior. We actually had a hashtag and everything on Think Liberty. It was good times.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Not a big fan of the guy. He knows that.
Yeah.
So, I think he knows that about me too.
Yeah, I told him. He blocked me after I called him out for an MMA fight for charity.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm actually sitting here with two of the biggest foils to Mr. Gillespie.
Yeah,
two of the largest.
He'll tell you that he's a giant beast, and I came to the edge of the forest and met him there, and he took down my entire national chair campaign and with one fake endorsement, and
no one took seriously.
Everybody already knew.
Yeah, except for a handful of communists that were not going to vote for you anyway. I myself engage in white genocide. Try to do it at least once a night, but we'll see.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You are a mixed marriage, and good on you.
Thank you. I bring my
live the life that you love.
I bring my
genitals. We know you do.
Thank you. So now we have talked about everything.
Now we've talked about every single thing. So this is wager time, right? This is wager time.
What are we wagering on?
We're doing a wager.
On a lot of these episodes, we kind of at some point we throw in a wager on what we think is going to happen. And this week I came up with one that we figured we have a guest on, so it'd be a perfect time to get somebody else in on it.
Yeah, this is a good one.
When I messaged Spike what the wager was, he was like, "Ooh, that's good."
Yeah, that is
good. Is Ruth Bader Ginsburg going to be at the State of the Union?
Oh.
And second wager, is she alive?
Is she alive?
I knew that was coming. I was just waiting for Spike to say
it. For me to say it right, exactly, because I'd be the one to say it.
Who knows, man? Wow.
I am wagering that she is not, and that she is alive, but is really, 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 really bad off, and might actually be dead by then. But I don't think she's gonna be there. I don't. Write all that down.
Really, really bad off, and she might be dead.
It was 9 reallys if you weren't counting.
Yeah, I was.
Like a little bit.
I would say that Ruth is definitely not going to be there, but I do believe that she's alive.
Yeah,
although I think it was really odd that during this time they put out a biopic movie about her, like randomly at the same time that she's like having all these issues, and I'm like, oh, that's got to feel really bad for her. I think
Fox News.
How are we?
Fox News put up a in memoriam for her and went, "Oops, that was a bit early," or something like that. It was like,
yeah, sure. Maybe she's dead. Who knows, man? She might have been dead for years.
I mean, I have, which I was explaining to Spike before the show. I've got tons of theories, but I'm going, no, she's not showing up, and no, I don't think she's alive.
Oh, you don't think she's alive?
I don't. I really, like, if she is alive, she is on, she's in a medical-induced coma, and they are just trying to keep her alive long enough to get it to the point where they can go, we need to wait for the American people to decide who the next Supreme Court justice is going to be.
Yeah, they really don't want Trump to pick the next nominee. They really don't. And that's that's a good point to make. Maybe they got someone, they have like a Ruth Bader Ginsburg like voice changer, so they like take calls.
The Ginsburg.
It's possible. They really don't want Trump to pick the
I really don't think that she is in any position to be making any of these decisions. And I think that she's got a team that's doing it for her.
I dissent. Beep boop.
It's true. That's true. I'm sure it's true.
That's my Ruth Bader Ginsburg impersonation. I dissent.
Nice.
Beep boop. Thank you. So no, I mean, she could be like either coma or possibly dead. I mean, so she had an event she was going to be at on the 6th of February, which is the day after. That's already been canceled. She was supposed to be at something a couple days ago. That's been canceled.
Today, I think the thing was today.
Yeah, it may have been today. I know it was like the end of the month. That was canceled.
The evening with Ruth.
Yeah, an evening with Ruth. It's hard to have an evening with Ruth when she's not awake. So then supposedly there's a photo from the 9th of her. And it's not a good photo. If that's the last time anyone has seen her, then she might be dead. It looked like the photos of Anna Nicole Smith when she passed out on the way to, they were bad photo. And I'm like, and they're like, and she's really getting along, recovering. I'm like, is anyone else looking at these photos except for me? Because that doesn't look like someone who's getting on with their recovery. That looks like someone who's about to be replaced in the Supreme Court.
So Nancy Pelosi extended the invite after the government had already been shut down. She was like, "Hey, come to the House and do the State of the Union." And then after the surgeries, after updates, she went, "No, never mind."
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that's
very fishy.
And
birds aren't real.
And then we reopened the government, and then she was still like, "No. Absolutely not. You're still not coming here."
Yeah, they don't want Trump picking another Supreme Court justice. Honestly, I don't know if I do.
Let me tell you something. I'm not thrilled at the prospect. Gorsuch, I'm like, yeah, all right, I could do Gorsuch. Kavanaugh seems like he's gonna be another, neocon.
It's gonna be the same shit, different
person.
Yeah.
But I mean, again. When you're a libertarian, we're right and we lose. And
we lose and we're right.
We lose rightly. And I have learned to embrace my loser rightness by just embracing the suck. And this would be pure suck embrace, in which I would bring my genitals. And the idea of watching America react to Donald Trump replacing the most stalwart, staunch leftist on the court, that alone is what brings me joy in the morning when I wake up. And so
the tears.
What's that?
The tears.
The pure You saw how they were with Kavanaugh, because it was supposed to be Merrill Garland. It was supposed to be Merrill Garland, and meanwhile he's almost Merrill Garland.
90%. 90%.
He is 90. He is Merle Garla, and so now, my friends, now he gets. Now you replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with like probably that Amy Comey Barrett woman. Oh, how is this not entertaining to people?
You're not the only one that's entertained here, Spike.
No, I know. I'm in good company. I
mean, and granted, like, my conspiracy theory is like, it's out there and people are like, well, no, there's no way that whatever. Okay. Odds are that my conspiracy theory is wrong. And I understand that, but it's entertaining as hell. And at the same time, it's also like, I can see it. Like, I admit it's probably wrong, but I can actually see that be something that's happening.
These are the people that tell us that Wyoming exists. Okay, so you're gonna tell me
and
birds that Australia and Wyoming are real, but they're not gonna like screw around with Ruth Bader Ginsburg's timeline, right?
My God, Spike.
Yes.
My God, what goes on in that brain?
It's amazing back there. It's amazing. But it's like a kaleidoscope.
Our show prep like conversations are just all over the place.
I can imagine.
Our show
I can only imagine.
Is me fever dreaming my way through the day before we get here. And then when these shows are over, I eat a massive amount of fish and then pass out. It's a split. We should do an after show of me. Why did this happen? I'm not sure what
you shrunk my head.
I did shrink your head, and I apologize for that greatly.
Started talking about fish and my head shrunk.
Yeah. You know what I do? I shrink our guest's head and I eat fish and then I go to bed. Okay, previous old business, which is usually comes before new business, but I'm doing it. Old business with the previous wagers that we had. That is way too big.
Like what are you even doing on that?
I am trying my best here live. Yes, damn it to hell. And
I pushed it with my head.
You did, yeah, I saw that. That was impressive. Thank you. As a team effort.
You can pay me later.
I will definitely. It will definitely be later. So
I like that you think you get paid.
Yeah, you will get
paid.
There's
no stipend here.
You will get the pay the very minute we. You will be the third person paid after us for this episode. So previous wagers. We said how long was the government shutdown going to last? I said 32 days. Matt said 31 to try to do some kind of Price is Right BS with me, and we both lost. Jacob LaBelle won.
So Jacob LaBelle won with 42 days. But if you averaged out all three of us, we were spot on. Like, we nailed it.
Oh yeah, we triangulated it very well. We really I guess it was more of a I don't know, it's a trial, say triangle, but we got pretty close on that one. We were all disappointed because we wanted it to be like in the triple digits, and that didn't happen. Another wager that happened, I bet that if the Earth was proven to be flat, that the government would never reopen, and it's hard to quantify or qualify if I won that. So I'm going to say I did.
It's actually really easy to just look up science that shows you the Earth is not flat. Actually, very easy.
One would think that, but I've seen some very compelling YouTube videos that I mean,
yeah.
Have you brought a level onto an airliner to see the laser level? I mean, listen, I didn't make science. It's completely straight, and all I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. This is all that I'm saying is that if we look in the horizon and we see the turtle, government over. Government is canceled.
Yeah, you have to deal with this guy all the time, huh?
I do. I do.
Oh, I got a buddy who's a flat earther, like unironically.
Yeah,
and,
see, I'm very ironically a flat earther. I don't believe for a second that it is flat. I just want it to be flat because the people who get the most upset about people saying flat Earth are almost invariably the most smug people out there. And I'm like, I just want them to be wrong. Like, I really, I just want them to. I have no idea what that means for like life on Earth. If we saw a giant turtle, I just know how many people that would be like, oh. And I'd be like, tell me about gravity now, bitch. And that for no other reason, I want the Earth to be flat. I don't think it is. I just really want it. I won that wager.
Spike literally, like, he's powered by tears.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
He really is.
I love it.
I am. I'm a joyful troll warrior.
Good.
I'm very zen about it too, because I'm happy regardless. Because someone's gonna cry. So I'm very stoic and zen. I'm like, whatever happens here, someone's gonna cry besides me, and I'm gonna laugh.
Someday I'll tell you about the Libertarian Troll Mercenaries and the group that I started back around the 2016 election, and I will tell you about all the glorious trolling that we did. Someday
I'll have to have you on in.
I was like, and we can just do another hour on that.
Yeah, we can just do an hour on that.
We trolled people into libertarianism. Literally, that was what we did. It was great.
That sounds amazing. I troll people into blocking me mostly.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it, and it's they say if a Facebook friend doesn't bring you joy, doesn't spark joy. Is that what Marie Kondo says? If a Facebook friend doesn't spark joy, then get them to block you.
Smart.
Bring your genitals.
It's just brilliant, really.
I think
got to bring the genitals.
Bring the genitals. So I feel like it's time to say the thing about what's to tell. Hey, Matt, what's going on?
Did you get hopped up on sugar? Like,
no, I haven't eaten all day. I haven't eaten at all day.
Oh, you're just pinging off of every one of the four corners in this box that I've got you in here.
I think this frame is helping me with my thing. I'm actually intermittent fasting right now, so these are ketones.
He's running on ketones.
Running on ketones.
So who do you have on the show tomorrow, Spike?
Oh my gosh, guys! Tomorrow I have Jason Brennan, who is he's a professor of like 15 different things at Georgetown University. He is the author of 10 different books, each one more libertarian than the next. The most recent one being When All Else Fails, The Ethics of Resistance to State Injustice. It is basically a book about shooting cops and jury nullification. So that's what that show's about. Yeah. And so tune in tomorrow night for that one. We already recorded it too, so I already know how awesome it's gonna be. It's really good. It's good. And so check that out Wednesday night, and then Thursday night you have Andrew Heaton.
I have Andrew Heaton from Blaze TV, formerly, I think he's still at Reason, actually. Not 100% sure. Probably should know this since I interviewed him last week. But yeah, I've got Andrew Heaton coming on. Most of our fan base would probably remember him from Mostly Weekly.
Very good stuff. And then
really funny guy.
Good stuff. And then next Tuesday, we will be back here with even more insanity than because I'm definitely intermittent fasting again for the next episode. Oh, good. good, right? So yes, finally. And so we will be parsing through the events that happened the very second this episode stopped, all the way until the very moment that the next episode begins. If you can imagine that perfect 7-day period, 6 days and 20. No, it'd be 7. No, it'd be about 6 days and 22 hours that had happened there. And we're going to talk about all of that happened. And then starting next Wednesday is the beginning of Spike Cohen's Black History Month extravaganza, where I have nothing on but black Republicans because it's my show. And I'm doing that. The entire month.
Oh my God.
The entire month. Nothing but black one more black and Republican than the next. All month. And
you got me yawning. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's that exciting. It is that exciting. So now it's when Matt says the thing about social media.
Well, do you have anything you need to pitch?
Oh yeah.
Me? Oh, I got all kinds of stuff I can plug. Let me plug away. Definitely check out the Libertarian Party Mises Caucus page and group. They are doing great work in liberty and bridging the gap between real libertarians and the Libertarian Party. Yeah, that's a good one. Check out Think Liberty. It's a publication that I helped found some time ago. I am still somewhat involved. I did the podcast that came out today with them, and hopefully I will do more media with them soon.
Nice. New podcast.
I have several. I do all podcasts, man. I just take anything anybody wants me to do that's on camera or recorded. I'm always down.
Aren't you hosting a podcast now?
I'm doing my own podcast now as well on anchor.fm. And it's called Let's Get to Work. That'll be my singular podcast where I'll document all of my great liberty exports. And let's see. You can check out my page at Joshua Smith, LNC at large. And give it up for Froggy Fresh, formerly known as Krispy Kremes, now known as Tyler Cassidy, one of the greatest rappers of all time. That was a joke, but a funny one, if you knew who he was. And that's it. I think that's it. Do I have anything else I can plug? Definitely. Oh, Being Libertarian, too. Check out Being Libertarian as well, because Think Liberty is now like a part of Being Libertarian. So
very good. And hashtag Bear for Chair. If you live in California and even are remotely libertarian, join the Libertarian Party of California. You do not have to join the National Party. Is that correct?
No. But here's the thing. If you've never been a member of the Libertarian Party of California, you've already missed your deadline to join the party to come vote for me at the state convention in April 5th through the 7th in Concord, California. But if you have been a member of the Libertarian Party of California at any time before the state convention, you can re-sign up for the state party and come and be a delegate and vote for me to help lead California into a libertarian future.
All current and or inactive past California Libertarian Party members, sign back up, go to the convention, be the delegate, Bear for Chair. Matt's got to say hashtag Bear for Chair.
Hashtag Bear for Chair.
Bear for Chair. And then now Matt says the social media thing.
All right. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Muddied Waters of Freedom. You can follow us on Twitter at Muddied_Waters, on Instagram at Muddied Waters of Freedom, on the YouTube at youtube.com/Muddied Waters Media. And you can find this and every single episode at muddiedwatersoffreedom.com. Also, if you didn't get a chance to see the picture of Josh when he was younger, he looked just like Brad Taylor from Home Improvement.
Yes. Spitting image. We will be devoting an entire pic gallery comparing the two definitely soon. But
actually, what they meant to say is that I used to be attractive and I am no longer. Thank you. That's okay. I appreciate it.
You're super attractive.
Yeah.
When you said you were that you needed
gayer, I would be all over that.
Sweet.
Yeah, you definitely have to be gayer. But if you and we bring your genitals, and but when you said that you were washing your hair, I was like, oh, and I
said I was doing my hair, Spike. Thanks for blowing that up, though. When you said you were washing your hair, calm down, CNN.
That's not much better to say I was doing my hair.
I'm an investigative journalist, okay? And I'm very, very good at it. Okay? So no one be upset about that. So this was a really good episode. And so Josh, we're definitely gonna have you on just as soon as we get another compromising photo of you. And
I figured you would.
If at any point you feel like your podcast needs like actual rabid insanity, we are available. And but guys, Wednesday, me with the guy that taught the book about killing people, and then Thursday, Andrew Heaton killing police specifically, and then Thursday.
Me with the guy that makes jokes.
But yeah, Matt with the other guy that makes jokes, and then
all next month,
Black Republicans. Nothing but Black Republicans on my show. Each one just pure Black Republicanism on my show. Probably wearing MAGA hats. Yes. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week. And where we're going,
we don't need roads.
No roads.